Okay. You should be good to go. Should lock you. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but I think we in the game now against Salakia for the hefty delay. You know what I mean? Just had to fix some things, but we right back at it. You know what I'm saying? So be back with us, tuning in. Shalom. Yahweh Bashmi Shah Barakatah to the brothers, Yahweh Shemarata, Alathun, Bashmi Shah to the sisters, right? I like to, let me put that over here because I'll speak about that in a second. Okay. Right. Actually, this is almost perfect. I think I'll do this like this. I'll wait a second. All right. So, Lashawan Qadash class, right? Of course, Lashawan, right? Literally means tongue. As we always say, it's an actual body part. Okay. Qadash means holy, which actually means, what does holy actually mean? Separate, right? Separate or set apart, different, to the side. Almost like think of it like something that you kind of, it's special, so it's like over here. You know what I mean? Like you put your special pair of sneakers or shoes in a special box, in a special case. They can't be with everything else. You like all your shoes, but this is your special one. And so by that definition is different. Okay. Now, real quick, so like we're gonna get right into it since our time got messed up. Bear with me just a second. Okay. All right. Just a quick thing on gender, real fast, right? So if you notice at the beginning of the class, the teacher will say to the Akim, "Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, Baraka Thumb." That's the proper way. Now, sometimes a brother will say a th, right? Sometimes you'll see a brother just say, "Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, Baraka Thah" to the brothers, right? Technically, that is incorrect. Why is that incorrect? Why is it technically incorrect to say Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, Baraka Thah to the brothers? Right, because it's not plural. You saying a tha, what does a tha mean? What is a tha? You say it all the time. You say Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, Baraka Thah, Yahweh Shema Allah Tha, Bashim Yahweh Shah. What does a tha mean? A tha means you. In a somewhat formal fashion, right? It's formal. It's a formal way of saying you. Okay? It's the way you say you when you're talking to anybody. Someone that might be a stranger, someone that might be an authority figure or not. But it's a formal form of saying you. Right? But it is singular. It is a singular what? Exactly. It is a singular pronoun replacing a noun. All right. So if you say Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabrakatah, you're quite literally saying peace. Yahweh the Most High. In the name of Christ. In the name of Yahweh Shah. Bless you. Which, again, colloquially speaking, in terms of we just, we're not being too formal. We're just talking. You could say. You know what I'm saying? I could say to a group of people, I love you. I could say that. But the proper thing to say is I love you all. You know what I'm saying? Black people, we say what, y'all, or something like that. Y'all, yo, chill. Like, y'all chill. Or y'all, where y'all going? Right? So think of these forms as like the y'all or like you all form. Okay? It's no in between, maybe neutral gender, anything. One is for brothers, one is for sisters. Okay? A thumb is masculine. This is what you say when you're talking to a group of brothers. A thun is feminine. This is what you say when you're talking to a group of sisters. So if I, at the beginning of the class, say, hey, shalom, to the brothers, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Barak, what should I say? I should say a thumb, because I literally said to the brothers. I said a thumb. Excuse me, I said to the brothers, so it should be shalom, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Barak, a thumb. Go to the multiple brothers. And to the sisters, I say what? Yahweh Shemar Al, a thun, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. Okay? We have to, do our best to make sure that these things match. All right. There's different times. You'll see there's an overlap usually with something that is similar, but is masculine versus feminine. Okay. These are plural, yes. So both of these are the plural form of this. A third, what you call it in grammar is what? Second person? You. I'm talking to you. How are you doing? Where have you been? It's good to see you. Right? But if I'm talking to multiple people, then these are the words that I would have to use. A thumb and a thun. Okay? And we see this in other things, right? Bear with me just a second. Let me see if I can find my notes on this one. Right. We see the same thing with possessives. This exact same thing. Talking about gender, right? Since we're on the subject. Now, again, I told you this is the formal, right? This is formal. Now, remember this. And this is actually new, so let's write this down. How do we say, I love you in Hebrew? It's been a hot topic lately. We start off with Anya. Anya, which can also be written without the H. So when you see it without the H, it's the same word. Anya, right? Anya, which means It's a pronoun. But as we know in Hebrew, the pronouns they have what is called the connecting verb implicated. Okay? So Anya is both I and I am. It's contextual. Okay? I, right? And then what is the root word for love? Let's look it up. Let's go to blue letter. Ahab. Root word for love is ahab. This love. Right? I love, right? But we need to say I love you. So how we do that, we say Anya. But we're not being formal. This is why we don't say Anya Ahab Atha. Because we're not being formal. We're not saying this. You wouldn't say I love you to your boss. I hope not. Right? It's just very unlikely. You're going to say I love you to someone familiar you're close to. So how we do that is with possessives. To be more informal. We say Anya. It's like you. But actually, that's kind of correct. We could, because I don't want to confuse you. Because really, I could put two H's. Right? I could. Let me be consistent and thorough. Ahab, right? But you're pronouncing it. You're not doing anything with these two H's. It's ahab, right? But the this lets you so you know what letter it is. Ahab, right? So it's gonna be Anya. Ahab Yaka. Anya Ahabyaka, which actually will translate as what? As I. We'll see I, right? I am or I love and the Yaka essentially means you. Right? So now, but going back to gender, right? So what if I'm talking to what if, you know what I mean, one of them nights, you know what I mean, you go out with the Akim, out at the bar, you drinking. Now, of course, you're not drunk because you're not a drunkard, and that is a sin. So, you know, but you know what I mean, you feeling good. And then you do that drunken, what you do in English, you say, man, I love y'all. Right? So how will we turn this into I love y'all? Right? He's with the Akim with the brothers. And he wants to say he loves all his brothers. So let me show you something else. Speaking of plurals. So, Slakia, in terms of possessives, excuse me, to say this, a thumb, a thun, but not formal, in the form of the possessive, it's going to be this. It's going to be like y'all. Masculine and feminine. You see where I'm going with this? So why did we say Anya Ahabiaka? For you, because we know that the singular possessive for you or your is what? It's ka, right? And the ya is just a buffer. That's how we're going to use it for now. Ya means yours, yours, or you, right? The ka is just it means yours, yours, or you. And the ya here is just a buffer. You don't have to have it, but it's something that you use to offset this ending here, right? It might be awkward to say ahabka. You could say it, but to make it, there's some ones that are going to be very difficult, like ak. How do I say akka? Akka, like ak. It's again, you don't want to do that, so you use the ya as a buffer, right? So we wouldn't say, if I want to say my brother, I'm gonna say akyaka. You understand what I'm saying? If I want to say, if a sister wants to say my king, you could say, well, actually that would be malakia. It's mine, right? But if you want to say your king, could you say malakka? It's not wrong, but it would be more aesthetically correct to say malakyaka. We're gonna know what you're talking about. It's gonna make more sense that way, right? And as my brother, my Adawan, Officer Hazahab says, you know what I'm saying? It's like talking about the valley of the dry bones, you know what I'm saying? And like slowly but surely, layer by layer, you know what I'm saying? The bones, and then they added sinews, and then muscle, and then so we're growing and we're figuring things out, right? So there's nothing wrong. We building up, we building it, brick by brick, right? Going back to this, talking about gender again. So if we say I love you with Anya Ahabiaka, what if I'm with the brothers, man? I've been drinking, I'm sipping, you know what I'm saying? I'm not drunk, I'm just having a good night with my brothers, man. A Tawab night with my brothers. And I want to tell all my brothers I love y'all. I'm not gonna say Anya Ahab Athum. That's formal. Right? Why? Because if I say, because for example, right? I'm saying at the end of a class, right? When we salute the brothers, right? We salute the Adawan, right? We say, hey, you say shalom, how about you? He's teaching the class. You gotta be a little bit more formal, respectful, right? Even when you salute the sisters, I may be in a whole nother city. You know what I'm talking about. You go to another city, you got to salute the same way. Say to the sisters, Yahweh Shema Allah Thumba Ashmi Yahweh. You got to say that because, you know what I'm saying? You don't really know them sisters. They still your sisters, but you don't have that familiar relationship with them so much, right? So I'm not going to, if I'm drinking with these brothers, these are my close guys. I'm not going to be like Anya Ahabatha, right? But I also would be grammatically incorrect to say Anya Ahabyaka because it's more of them. It's multiple of them. It's not just one person. So what would I say? Most High in Christ. That's it. That's it. This is absolutely correct. If I'm talking to multiple brothers, I'm going to say Anya Ahabyakum. If I'm talking to multiple sisters, I'm going to say what? Anya Ahabyakun. Right? These are the possessives that we use to represent the plural, right? The second, what you might call in grammar, again, second person, plural, right? Second person, plural. So I'm going to say Anya Ahabyakum, Anya Ahabyakun, right? Let's get one more. We dealing with gender, right? We're gonna get back to this Abba mother father thing later. You know what I mean? But this is kind of what led me off on this. I didn't actually plan on teaching any of this at all, but I figured why not? It kind of made sense. Um, you know, Abba is father. All y'all teaching the little babies, right? Abba is father, and Amma is mother. All right. Abba is where Abraham gets his name. His name means father of nations, right? Or father of many nations. Okay. Abraham. Now, so we got this one, right? We got the second person plural. Why is it called second person? Who knows, right? Why is it called second person? This is again more of a grammatical question. Why is it called second person? It's called second person because the person you're talking to is the what? What? Well, give me the word. They're the. What are they? They're the second person. Correct. Oh, why don't I hear nothing? There we go. So yeah, they're the second person, which makes you the first, which is why Anya we would call grammatically first person singular. Is there a such thing as first person plural? What you think? Is there a way to talk about yourself collectively? Is there a way to talk about yourself but not as an individual? Can. Of course. What are we doing after class? Go. Right? We is first person plural. Okay? It's you talking about yourself as part of a collective or a collective that you are a part of, better yet. But we're not going to deal with that for now because that's genderless. Both first person, plural and singular, are genderless. When I say genderless, I just mean you're talking about a group. It doesn't matter. There's only one way to say it. Okay? But in terms of second person, we got some genders. So now we know how to say the second person singular, singular, a th, formally, right? All of this is formal. Second person plural, a thumb and a thun, still formal. But now we're talking about the second person possessives, which are less formal. Come and con, right? But now let's get another one dealing with gender. And we're still going to deal with Anya Ahabyaka as our basis for this. One second. All right. This one is going to go like this. What should I erase? I'll erase Lashawan Qadash. We know what that means. Right? So the next one will be, I'm gonna do the English first. Will be this. Say them or theirs, because remember, it is possessive. Remember theirs. One is masculine and one is feminine. Can we guess what we would call this? We got first person, Anya. Right? What's the other one? Anak, Nawa. We have second person, a thumb, a thun. Also, so let me be more thorough. Salaki, let me be thorough. In first person, formally, Anya. To say my possessively would be ya at the end of a word, right? Shamya, right? Akya, Malakya. You understand? Ashaya would be my rib, my wife. Asha, Ashaya. That's first person. Second person, atha, formally. Okay. Singular, formal, atha. Singular, formal, so singular, informal / possessive, ka. Right? You follow me? Second person, plural, formal, a thumb, a thun. Right? Second person, plural, informal / possessive, come, con, not to be confused with the word for yes. This is not a standalone word. This is what you would call a suffix. It's attached to the end of a word. Okay. So now we got first person, we got second person. What comes next? Third person. What is third person? What is that? What is third person? Is that even a thing? How would you describe third person? Are you? Mm-mm. You on it. You're on it. And people say, don't talk about your what? Yourself in third person. Why would that be third person? Why is that called third person? You're right. Why is that called that? You're going to learn today. It's called third person because you're talking about yourself as if what? As not as if you don't exist. Obviously you exist. You're talking about yourself. You're talking about yourself as if you're what? Not there. That's what it means. Yeah, did you see General Mahaiman's class? Hey, yeah, you know what I mean. I went to the gun range with Captain Knight Doc and Officer Capardo. Yeah, I was down in Fayetteville with Officer Bunkayo, Officer Kowal, Officer Ayathan, Officer Shamyar. Why is that third person? No, I is first person. But what was third person? It might be throwing you off because I didn't use any pronouns. But I just said I was down in Fayetteville with Officers Bunkayal and Shamyar, and I had done Officer Zion, Officer Kowal. Right? I listed all their names, so those are not pronouns. But how would I turn that into a pronoun to the next sentence? Let's do some grammar, right? You know, I love this is what I do, right? So I just mentioned all these brothers. And I said, yeah, I went to the club with Officer Zion, Officer Bunkayor, Officer Kawal, Officer Ayathan, Officer Shamyar, Officer Kwadum. I went to the club with all them brothers. I said that. I started off with that. Now I want to say something about them collectively without saying all their names again. What would I say? I could say they or them. Third person means I'm talking about somebody who is not me and it's not you. Right. Right. It's not me and it's not you. It's if I'm first and you're second, it's a third person. They're over there. Right? Which is like almost as if they're not necessarily present, but they might be present. But they're still third person because I'm not having a conversation. I'm not talking to them. Think of third person like that. I'm not talking to them. I'm first person because I'm the one telling the story or whatever. I'm first person. I'm talking to you, so you're second person. I'm talking about them, but I'm not talking to them. So they are third person. That's how that works. All right. So we would call this third person plural. Okay? Because it's a group of them. How will we say third person singular? It exists. What's a way of saying referring to a third person in singular form? There you go. There you go. Him or her, or he or she, which we've discussed before. We don't get too into that. But I could say, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna ride with him. Yeah, I'm gonna go see her. I'm gonna go see her. Singular. Where he at? Where is he at? Singular. You know what? You know what she like to eat? What she like? Singular. Third person, singular. But now we're talking about plurals. Third person plurals. Them, they, theirs. We'll get into the formal in a second. Let's do these ones first because we want to say I love them. I might want to say I love, I might be talking about a group of people who is comprised of brothers or men, and I want to say, oh, I love them. Now, granted, I still wouldn't be formal with that. I wouldn't be formal with that because let's say I'm talking about the Knicks. I'm not gonna be talking about the Knicks formally. The hell for? You know what I'm saying? They probably don't deserve it anyway. But I might say, man, I love them. But the Knicks, I love them. I love them. So how do we say them? There's masculine. It's similar to come and con. It's going to be, don't look at me. Pause. It's going to be hum, not to ever be pronounced ham, hum, and hun. This is how we say those words. You understand? Slovakia. Bear with me just a moment. right? So we want to say I love them to a group comprised of males. How will we say that? I love them. There you go. Anya ahabiyahum. Doesn't it just roll off the tongue so perfectly? It's perfect. Anya ahabiyahum. But yes, let's say I'm talking about a group comprised of females, right? I might be talking about the New York Liberty. I don't know if they even still exist, but the New York Liberty or the damn Destiny's Child, SWV. I don't give a damn. Whatever it is, this is the group of females, and I want to say I love them. Somebody says SWV. There you go. Most High in Christ. I hear SWV. SWV, Anya Ahabyahan. I love them. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Come on. It's lucky. And my phone died. There we go. All right. Salakia. Perfect, right? Anya Ahabiyahum. Anya Ahabiyahan. Anya Ahabiyakum. Anya Ahabiyakun. Anya Ahabiyaka. Well done. All right. Now, let's see where we at. We got a thumb. We got a thumb. I feel like there's one I'm missing. Well, we'll throw this in there. I mean, now, granted, we're generally not gonna say "I love us." That's a weird phrase. I mean, you could say it. You could say it. How would you say it? I love us. It's a weird phrase, but I mean, and remember, the yah is a buffer. If you don't need it, you don't got to use it. It makes it very smooth and easier. So you can use it as much as you want. What is us or we? There you go. That's it. Remember, what's the formal form of us? What's the formal way of saying us? Like I'm writing a letter or something. Or we, excuse me. Nope. Close. Anak Nawa. Anak Nawa. It's the formal way of saying it. But in terms of, again, and let's be clear and understand something. These are also possessives. The ones we're talking about. Hum, hun, come, kan, ka are possessives. These are not possessives. These are pronouns. Okay? You cannot use these as possessives to describe ownership of something. You can attach hum and hun and come and kan and ka and ya to the end of a word to describe ownership of something. You cannot do that with these. So let's keep that clear. These are all formal pronouns. All right. Anak nawa is a pronoun for we or us. That is formal. Okay. But informally and possessively. So if we're talking about something that is informal and or possessive, we're going to use this form over here. And we wouldn't say anak nawa in that case. We would say, as you said before, nawa. So if I wanted to say I love us, I would say Anya, Ahab nawa, or Ahabia nawa. Okay. But if I wanted to say we are Israelites, more than likely I would use anak nawa. Right? I would say, how would I say we are Israelites? Why'd you say Anya? You said about to say Anya, so you said anak nawa. You said anak nawa what? That wouldn't be wrong. That's we Israel. How do we say we are Israelites? I'll show you. How do you say Israelite? Go to Blue Letter Bible or in your concordance, right? And go to Hebrew word Strong's H3481. And you'll see it there. Hebrew Strong's, so H3481. And this is what you will see. I'm going to write it right here. So we know that Israel, the land and the people, And the name that who got this name? Who was named Israel after they fought with an angel? Jacob, right? The water, Most High in Christ. It was changed to, the proper way is Yah, Shor, Allah. Read it in the actually we read it in the Syrian and the we didn't do an alphabet review today, but that's okay. Yasha Allah, right? We'll do the ancient first. Do the ancient first. And what does Yasha Allah mean? Mm-hmm. In ancient, Yah, Shar, Allah, right? Then in Assyrian, it would look like this. Yasha Allah. Okay? That's how you say Israel in ancient Hebrew, Lashawan Qadash. But now we'll learn how to say Israelite. Israelite. Again, we looked at Strong's what? H3481. What does it say? You should see a very similar spelling. Yasha Aliyah. Yasha Aliyah. Yasha Aliyah. That is how you say Israelite. So now I got to extend it a little bit, or I can move it over. Yeah, let me be nice. There we go. Yasha'ala. Which, as we write it out, is going to look like what? Now it's going to help it. Nice ya at the end. Let me not write it like that. I kind of have to make sure it, fits. Yasha'ala ya. Now in the Syrian. See that? So to say Israelite, we say Yasha'ala ya. Yasha'ala is a name, a people, and a land. Because the lands are named after what? People. Lands are named after people. So how will we say we are Israelites? There we go. Give her a hand. Right. Sister is correct. So we're with Mark Salaki. Here we go. So to say, so if we say Anak now Salaki. Yasha'ala. We are. And why is it that we can say we are? I said it before. Why is it that we can say we are when we don't see a R per se? We don't see a word representing R. Yeah, why can we say that? Why is it still we are Israelites, even though there's no word that corresponds to R per se? Not so much cancels it out. I would say cancels it out. Let's say that. You're close, but not cancels it out. It's there. No sweat. In Hebrew, our pronouns do not require connecting verbs or copulas. They don't require them because they are implied It's there. A not now means we are. Anya means I am. A means you are. Kind of like how in English, when black people use English, when we say you, that means you are. As we said in the class before, right? You the man. There's no connecting verb there. There's no copula. Let me just say you the man. It's just a pronoun and a pronoun, an article, a Ebonics article, and a noun. You the man. But that makes sense to black people, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We hungry. Where's the R? It makes sense to black and Hispanic people. So remember that this is our language. So we don't, we Israel, we Israelites. Makes sense to us. That's how our language works. The R is implied. It's like we don't got to say it. It's there. It's in the word. Anak nawa yasha alaya. Anya yasha alaya. All right. All right. So I mentioned this Abba, Amma, father, mother thing earlier. I'm just gonna break something down real quick. So everything we doing here, man, we, you know what I'm saying, we going to the scriptures and we breaking it down to get a proper understanding. So we're gonna go to a scripture real quick. I'm gonna break something down and get an understanding of why it works the way it works. We're gonna go to the book of Genesis, chapter 15 and verse 15. We kind of connect these two concepts. All right. So this means we are Israelites. All right. So I'm gonna erase a few things. All right, so Genesis chapter 15 and verse 15. All right. Genesis chapter 15 and verse 15. I'm reading the English first. Well, I'll read it in the Hebrew first, and I'll read it in the English and break it down, right? Genesis chapter 15 and verse 15 in the Hebrew, it says, Wa'atha, Thabawa'a, Al, Abathyaka, Ba, Shalom, Thakwabar, Bashaba, Shlagyaba, Shayaba, Tawaba. Right? Now, this word for father is in this sentence. It's where it says Abathyaka. Now, first things first, the first phrase in the sentence is Wa'atha. and thou, or and you. The thought that we use all the time. You see it clear as day at work in the scriptures. So now, why does it say, instead of saying Abba, it says this? Excuse me, not Amma, not that one. Abba. It says Abba. Now, let's read it again in English. It says, we didn't read it in English, excuse me. Genesis chapter 15 and verse 15. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. So, fathers. Fathers. Well, that's weird, right? Because we know father, Abba. But what the hell is Abba? How do we make a plural in Hebrew? How do we make something plural? How we say brothers? A thumb? Akim, right? Because yum, right? We said at the beginning of the class, right? Yum and yun. This is the masculine. This is the feminine. I'll make that plural word larger. You could call this right. But it says fathers in Genesis chapter 15 and verse 15, but it does not say Abayum. It does not say Abayum. So is the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge teaching lies? Are we claiming that we understand the language, but we don't? Are we saying things that are not true? Is yum not plural? Damn. What do we do? How do we figure this out? Let's use some common sense and get an understanding, and now we can really understand why it is what it is. Fathers. 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 How many brothers do you have? Talking to my rib. Akinwa, Akwathin, Salakia. She got like 100 siblings. Salakia. She got 5 brothers. 5 of them, right? You have 5 brothers. How many sisters you have? 8. Tell you, man. Her parents got more kids than Ms. Wayne's. 5 brothers, 8 sisters. And each brother, all from the same parents, right? And each brother is equally your brother. You got 5 brothers. And you got 8 sisters. We would call them what? Akim and Akwathian, right? Because you can have multiple and they're on the same level, they're the same. Now let me ask you this question. How many fathers do you have? How many fathers do I have? How many fathers does every single human being that has ever lived on planet Earth, ever existed, have ever? one. It's impossible to have multiple fathers. Now, granted, you can have spiritual fathers, but in terms of actual fathers, there's only one. You cannot have multiple. Abba Yum wouldn't even make sense. That doesn't make sense. Right? We're going to break it down. I'll get to understand it. So what does Abath mean? I'll tell you. Because you obviously cannot have multiple fathers, this ta at the end of a word, at the end of a Hebrew word, it represents a concept called categorization. Categorization. Abath is not literal because it is impossible to have more than one father. It's impossible. It is a categorization. You understand? It's a categorization. The tha at the end of Abba, right, is a pluralized form of a categorization to represent what? What is it there to represent? It's to represent the fact that your father, your singular father, had what? What did he have? He's right, but no. In this case, we're talking about the fathers. What did your father? You only got one. This is you right here. And you had a father. What did he have? Con, but how would we're talking about father and fathers. How? There's you, then one father. What did he have? He had a father. What did he have? What did that father have? Your grandfather. He had a father. And what can we guarantee that he had? He had a father. And so on, 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 to the point where you have fathers. It's a category. You don't literally have, in fact, you have a father. Who's this? Your grandfather. Who's this? Who's this? And so on and so on. You only have one father. Right? That's why there's no Abayum. Because that is stupid. All your brothers are equally your brothers. You came from the same father and the same mother. They're all your brothers. You're on equal standing. Akyum. All my brothers in the truth. Why do we say Akyum when we talk about the brothers in the truth? Because we're all equally brothers in the truth. We're all brothers. And the sisters Akwathian. We're all, there's a bunch of us. There's a bunch of Akyum and a bunch of Akwathian. But each human being only has one what? One father and one mother. Okay? But this is a category. This is a collective category. Is the best word, category of fathers. It's not really to describe that you have multiple of it. It's to describe that there's a series of it. You understand? There's a collection of it. All right? That's what that is for. You see things like this often when dealing with Hebrew, where you'll see something that's pluralized, but it's not pluralized in the way we're used to. We see yum and yun. There's an explanation for that, for why that is. Okay. For example, I won't actually write it. We'll say that for next week. Hold me to it. Write it down. Write down next week. Back of the range. Right. Next week. Kahan. Kahana. KAHANAH / priesthood breakdown. Next week, I'll give you the answer now, but we'll break it down next week. When you look at the word priesthood in Hebrew, it does not say ka. The word for priest is kahan, right? It does not say kahanath. It says kahana, right? And that the devil paints that as being feminized. He says the feminine form, but we're going to find out it has nothing to do with being feminine because there's no such thing as a female priest, right? The reason why it's feminized or uses that in their terms really has more to do with the status. A priest is in what? He's in the service of the Lord. He works for the Lord. The word there, let me get the right word. We're going to write this all next week. The word there would be, bear with me. I don't got it here, don't sweat. But the word would be the subservient. That's the word. Subservient. Because the priests work for the Most High. They have their authority is the Most High. So that word is describing the fact that they are subservient or under the employ or under the authority of the Most High. That's what they're there for. So the word is given to the devil. He calls it feminine, but it's not feminine. It's simply, it's given, status as being subservient. But you could say feminine. Why? Because a woman is feminine and subservient to her husband or to the priest or so on. It's just to describe status. All right. Multi in Christ. Hey, Salakia, again, we started late, man. Technical difficulties. You know what I'm saying? But again, no sweat. Okay. All right. And so, let me see, nothing online, no comments, no nothing. All right. So next week we'll pick back off from here, talk about some more things dealing with gender, get some new words, talk about some more things related to some of the little intricacies you see. Oh, and also next week we're going to talk about the mistranslations. That's what I wanted to get into today, but we didn't have time. We'll talk about the mistranslations, you understand, utilized in the Bible. Words that are there that actually don't belong. All right. And so with that, you know what I'm saying, we say shalom to the sisters, shalom to the brothers, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shabbat, and shalom to the sisters, Yahweh Shema Allah Bashim Yahweh Shah. Shalom.